Right then. Welcome to our deep dive into the global cryptocurrency regulatory landscape. Today we'll explore how different countries are shaping the future of digital assets, or at least how they're to shape it, often with the coordination of a flock of pigeons fighting over a single dropped French fry. It's a world where one nation's innovative financial instrument is another's definitely illegal pyramid scheme waiting to happen, and where lawmakers are often trying to regulate technology they understand about as well as your grandpa understands TikTok. This isn't just about Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's about the very future of money, transactions, and how governments try to keep a leash on things they can't quite see. So, why should you, a well-adjusted individual who probably just wants to watch cat videos, care about this regulatory mess? Well, because whether you're a crypto millionaire, a cautious skeptic, or someone who still thinks blockchain is a new type of children's toy, these rules, or lack thereof, will affect you. They influence economic stability, consumer protection, or the alarming absence of it, and even international relations. It's a high-stakes game of global financial Jenga, and some of the players are wearing blindfolds and oven mitts. We're going to take a whirlwind tour, a sort of regulatory safari, through how various nations are attempting to tame this digital beast, or in some cases, feed it steroids and hope for the best. Strap yourselves in, because it's going to be a bumpy, confusing, and occasionally hilarious ride through the legislative jungles of the world. We'll see who's leading the charge, who's lagging behind, and who's just decided to ban the whole darn thing and pretend it doesn't exist, which, spoiler alert, is a bit like trying to ban the internet. We're aiming to make sense of the nonsensical, or at the very least point and laugh at the truly baffling bits. This is the state of global crypto regulation, and frankly, it's a bit of a circus. Popcorn, anyone? The United States of America, where the pursuit of happiness often involves the pursuit of regulatory clarity, a chase that can feel as endless as a C-SPAN marathon. The U.S. Senate, in its infinite wisdom, is advancing something called the Genius Act to regulate stablecoins. Now, calling an act genius is a bold move, especially in Washington. It's like calling your band the Beatles 2. You're setting some pretty high expectations that are almost certainly not going to be met. Meanwhile, down in Texas, because of course Texas, they're mulling over creating a state-held Bitcoin reserve. Yes, the state that brought you everything's bigger now wants to add our Bitcoin stash to that list. One hopes they remember the password. And then there are the federal agencies, the SEC and the CFTC, who are still kind of wrestling in a regulatory mud pit over who gets to be the top crypto cop. It's like watching two bald men fight over a comb, except the comb is made of intangible digital code and could potentially destabilize the economy. They're ostensibly working on clearer guidelines, which is Washington speak for we'll release a 500-page document that 3 people will read, and it will probably be outdated by next Tuesday. The sheer ambition of trying to regulate something this slippery, this borderless, within a system designed for, corn subsidies and interstate highways, is truly something to behold. It's less a coordinated strategy and more like a game of whack-a-mole where the moles are riding rockets. The challenge isn't just defining what crypto is. It a security, a commodity, a digital beanie baby? But also how to apply century-old laws to 21st century technology. It's like trying to enforce horse and buggy traffic laws on a Formula One race. The current approach feels piecemeal, with different states doing different things, and federal agencies occasionally stepping on each other's toes with the grace of a drunken elephant. This creates a landscape of uncertainty that can stifle innovation or, worse, drive it offshore to countries with slightly less bewildering rulebooks. What the U.S. desperately needs is a coherent, unified federal framework, but getting one feels about as likely as Congress agreeing on the best type of pizza. So for now, it's a fascinating if terrifying experiment in real-time regulatory improvisation. And now, across the Atlantic, to the European Union, an entity famous for its bureaucracy, its directives, and its admirable attempts to standardize everything from banana curvature to, now, crypto assets. They've conjured up something called MiCA, which stands for Markets in Crypto Assets. It sounds terribly official, doesn't it? Like something a stern German economist would present with a series of very dense slides. The goal of MiCA is to create a harmonized regulatory framework across all 27 EU member states. Yes, all 27 of them. Each with its own unique way of saying this is far too complicated. It's an ambitious undertaking, like trying to get a family of 27 to agree on what to watch on Netflix, but with significantly higher financial stakes. MyCA focuses on crucial areas like licensing requirements for crypto asset service providers, robust consumer protection measures because, let's face it, consumers need protecting from themselves sometimes, especially when dog with hat coin is mooning, and stringent anti-money laundering, AML protocols. The idea is that if you're a crypto exchange, you'll have one set of rules to follow whether you're operating in Lisbon or Lithuania, which in theory should make life simpler and safer. In theory. The challenge, of course, is transposing this grand EU-wide vision into national law, and then actually enforcing it consistently. It's a bit like writing a beautiful symphony and then handing it out to 27 different orchestras, each with a conductor who has their own artistic interpretation. The promise of MyCA is significant, a single market for crypto assets, fostering innovation while mitigating risks. It aims to provide legal certainty, which has been as rare in the crypto world as a sighting of a unicorn riding a Bigfoot. However, the implementation timeline is, shall we say, European. It's not happening overnight, and there are already debates about whether MyCA goes too far or not far enough, particularly concerning things like DeFi, decentralized finance, and NFTs, which are evolving faster than regulators can type. So, while the EU gets points for a comprehensive pan-continental effort, the real test will be in its practical application and its ability to adapt to a market that changes its skin every 6 months. It's a noble experiment, but the periodic table is probably easier to memorize. Right, let's hop over the channel to the United Kingdom, a nation currently navigating its post-Brexit identity with the plucky determination of a terrier trying to understand quantum physics. When it comes to crypto, the UK has decided to get rather serious, introducing comprehensive regulations for crypto businesses. This means companies have to register with the Financial Conduct Authority, or FCA. The FCA, by the way, is not, as the name might imply to some, the finally Crypto Accountability Department, though one can dream. No, it's the UK's main financial watchdog, and they're now tasked with making sure crypto firms aren't, run out of a garden shed by a teenager with a laptop and a dream of illicit riches. There's also a keen focus on advertising standards, which is a very British thing to do. One imagines stern warnings like, please be advised your magic internet beans may, in fact, not grow into a money tree. Past performance is not indicative of future results, you plonker, and in a move that screams we're still a global financial power, honest, the Bank of England is exploring a central bank digital currency, the digital pound. Or as I like to call it, Britcoin, though I suspect they'll go with something far more sensible and far less fun. The idea is to bring crypto businesses into the regulatory fold, ensuring they adhere to anti-money laundering protocols because, as it turns out, criminals are quite fond of things that are hard to trace. Shocking, I know. The UK is treading a fine line, trying to position itself as a crypto-friendly hub, while also protecting consumers and the integrity of its financial system. It's like trying to host a really cool, edgy party, but also making sure everyone uses a coaster and doesn't spill anything on the new rug. The Digital Pound initiative is particularly fascinating. Will it be pegged to the price of a pint of bitter? Will it come with a tiny digital Union Jack? These are the important questions. The success of the UK's approach will depend on whether it can strike that delicate balance between fostering innovation and preventing the kind of crypto catastrophes that make headlines for all the wrong reasons. It's a proper balancing act, and the world is watching to see if they stick the landing or end up face first in the regulatory custard. Next, we journey to Singapore, the gleaming city-state that's often described as Asia for beginners, or what would happen if a Swiss watch became a country. Unsurprisingly, their approach to crypto is methodical, precise, and aimed at being ahead of the curve. The Monetary Authority of Singapore, or MAS, which sounds less like a financial regulator and more like a highly advanced AI from a sci-fi movie, has finalized regulations specifically for stablecoins. Yes, stablecoins, those crypto assets that promise the stability of traditional currency, but sometimes deliver the stability of a unicycle on a tightrope during an earthquake. MAS wants to ensure these digital tokens are genuinely backed by reserves, not just wishful thinking and a slick marketing campaign. This focus on stablecoins is crucial because they're often the bridge between the traditional financial world and the wild west of crypto. Singapore wants that bridge to be made of solid, reliable steel, not hopes and dreams and the digital equivalent of duct tape. Beyond stablecoins, Singapore has a rather interesting tax approach. While long-term capital gains on cryptocurrencies for individuals are generally not taxed, cue cheers from the hodlers. Businesses dealing in cryptocurrencies are very much taxed on their profits. It's a classic Singaporean move, pragmatic, business-friendly to a point, but with a clear understanding that if you're making serious money, the government wants its slice. It's like they're saying, sure, play with your digital marbles, but if you open a professional marble emporium, we expect our cut. The overarching goal here is to cement Singapore's position as a leading fintech hub, attracting legitimate crypto businesses while weeding out the cowboys. They're aiming for financial stability and robust consumer protection, which, while sounding less glamorous than to the moon, are arguably far more important for sustainable growth. MAS is known for its rigorous oversight, and crypto is no exception. They are not afraid to wield the regulatory hammer if necessary. So, while Singapore offers a relatively clear and welcoming environment for well-behaved crypto enterprises, it's also a place where you'd better have your ducks in a row, or MAS will likely help you arrange them, possibly in a way you won't entirely enjoy. Efficiency has its price after all. Annyeonghaseyo. Let's fly over to South Korea, a country that has given us world-beating pop music, addictive dramas, and a population that has embraced cryptocurrency with the kind of fervor usually reserved for a new BTS album. To manage this enthusiasm, they've introduced the Virtual Asset User Protection Act. Now that sounds like a piece of legislation I can get behind. It even sounds a bit like a superhero's mission statement, to protect the users of virtual assets. It aims to provide clear definitions for what digital assets actually are, which is helpful because arguing that your moonshot Inu coin is a legitimate investment can be tricky without some legal groundwork. More significantly, this act imposes strict penalties for naughty behavior in the crypto space. We're talking serious consequences for things like insider trading, market manipulation, and the kind of pump and dump schemes that leave ordinary investors holding worthless digital dust. So, if you were thinking of launching Squid Game Token 2, Electric Boogaloo, and then vanishing with the funds, South Korea might not be your ideal holiday destination. The Financial Services Commission, FSC, and the Bank of Korea are the main enforcers here, acting as the stern but hopefully fair guardians of the Korean crypto realm. They are tasked with regulating and investigating cryptocurrency service providers, ensuring they're not just fly-by-night operations run from a PC bang. This robust approach is a direct response to the massive retail investor interest in crypto in South Korea, and also to some high-profile collapses and scandals that have shaken the market. The government is trying to walk a tightrope fostering innovation in a sector its citizens clearly love, while also preventing widespread financial harm. It's like trying to encourage a national obsession with extreme sports while also making sure everyone wears a helmet and doesn't, fly off a cliff. The Virtual Asset User Protection Act is a clear signal that while the party might continue, there are now some very strict bouncers at the door, and they are not messing around. This is about bringing maturity and accountability to a sometimes immature market. Namaste. Our regulatory roller coaster now takes us to India, a nation of incredible dynamism, a burgeoning tech sector, and a crypto taxation policy that seems designed by someone who really dislikes crypto traders. India has imposed a rather eye-watering 30% tax on any gains from cryptocurrencies. 30%? That's not just a tax, it's a financial headlock. It's like winning a modest lottery prize and then having the government show up and say, "Excellent, we'll take the bit that would have bought you a small car, thank you very much." And as if that wasn't enough to dampen spirits, there's also a 1% tax deducted at source, TDS, on all crypto transactions over a certain threshold. This TDS in particular has been a source of much consternation, as it impacts liquidity and makes high-frequency trading about as appealing as a root canal without anesthetic. The stated aim is to track transactions and bring crypto into the tax net, which is fair enough. But the combined effect of the high capital gains tax and the TDS has created what many in the industry describe as a challenging, if not outright hostile, environment for crypto traders and businesses. It's like trying to encourage marathon running by making participants wear lead boots and pay a toll every mile. You might get a few dedicated souls, but most will probably look for a more welcoming track. The bigger issue, however, is the lingering uncertainty around comprehensive crypto legislation. While these taxes are in place, a full, overarching regulatory framework has been more elusive than a truly satisfying Bollywood ending. This lack of clarity creates a fog of uncertainty that makes it difficult for businesses to plan and for investors to feel secure. It's like being invited to a party, but the invitation is vague about the dress code, the location, and whether or not the hosts actually want you there. India has a massive, young, tech-savvy population with a keen interest in crypto. A clear, balanced regulatory framework could unlock huge potential. Instead, the current situation feels like a missed opportunity wrapped in red tape and sprinkled with punitive taxes. Ni hao. Let's now turn our gaze to the People's Republic of China, a country that has taken a rather definitive stance on cryptocurrencies. While other nations are umming and ahhing about how to regulate Bitcoin and its brethren, China has essentially slammed the door, locked it, bolted it, and put up a very large "Do Not Enter" sign. They maintain a strict, comprehensive, and thoroughly enforced ban on all cryptocurrency transactions and mining activities. If the global crypto market is a bustling, chaotic city, China has decided to build a very high wall around its borders and declare itself a crypto-free zone. There's no ambiguity here, no subtle interpretations, it's just a flat niet, or rather, bushing. This wasn't a sudden decision, it was a gradual tightening of the screws over several years, culminating in a full crackdown. The reasons are multifaceted: concerns about financial stability, capital flight, energy consumption from mining, and, let's be frank, a desire for state control over the financial system. Independent, decentralized currencies don't exactly fit neatly into a centrally planned economy that prioritizes oversight. So if you're a crypto enthusiast in mainland China, your options are, shall we say, extremely limited and probably involve a VPN and a healthy dose of paranoia. It's a bold strategy, effectively ceding the freewheeling crypto innovation space to other parts of the world. But here's the twist. China isn't anti-digital currency. Oh no, quite the opposite. They are all in on their digital currency, the digital yuan, also known as ECNY. This is a central bank digital currency, CBDC, which means it's issued and controlled by the People's Bank of China. Think of it as digital cash, but with the government having a much clearer view of where it's going and how it's being used. So, it's less about rejecting digital money and more about rejecting digital money. They're not just opting out of the crypto party, they're throwing their own, much more orderly, state-sanctioned digital currency gala, and attendance is, well, strongly encouraged. G'day, let's head south to the land of kangaroos, koalas, and increasingly, crypto regulations, Australia. The Aussies are taking a characteristically pragmatic, if somewhat cautious, approach to the digital asset frontier. They are currently in the process of developing a more formal licensing framework for digital asset platforms. This means that if you want to run a crypto exchange or a business handling digital currencies, you'll likely need to obtain an Australian Financial Services License, AFSL. Think of it as a fair dinkum certificate, proving you're not some shonky operator looking to fleece unsuspecting punters out of their hard-earned Dogecoin. This move towards licensing is part of a broader effort to bring crypto into the mainstream financial system, complete with all the joys of compliance and oversight. A key part of this, naturally, is adherence to anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing, AML/CTF, obligations. Because, as it turns out, even in the laid-back land of Oz, authorities are keen to prevent digital currencies from becoming the preferred payment method for nefarious activities. It's all about striking that balance between fostering innovation, and Australia has a vibrant fintech scene, and ensuring that the crypto market doesn't turn into the Wild West, but with more surfboards. Interestingly, Australian law generally classifies cryptocurrencies as legal property. This means that yes, your Bitcoin is considered an asset, much like shares or a piece of real estate. The flip side of this, of course, is that it's subject to capital gains tax. So if you buy low and sell high, the Australian Taxation Office, ATO, will be expecting its cut, just like with any other investment. No free rides on the crypto roller coaster, mate. This approach, treating crypto as property and integrating it into existing tax and financial frameworks, is seen by many as a sensible way forward, though it does mean crypto investors need to keep meticulous records. So, less no worries and more better keep those receipts. Hey everyone! Our World Crypto Tour now takes us to Brazil, famous for passion, soccer, and now, a smart take on digital money. Brazil actually made a law saying it's okay to use crypto for payments. Yep, you heard right, it's not official money like they're real, but it sets rules for using crypto to pay and invest. That's a big step, showing they're open to digital money in their economy. They're even thinking of letting people get part of their pay in Bitcoin. Super cool, or a big headache with prices jumping so much. Imagine your paycheck changing value over a tweet. Gap2S, a brave experiment for sure. Brazil's main bank is watching carefully. Their big job? Oversee crypto, stop scams, protect people, and keep the money system stable, like lifeguards at a wild beach party. They want you to have fun with crypto but not lose your shirt on some joke coin. This forward-thinking way is interesting. Other big countries are unsure or even against crypto. Brazil's like, crypto's here to stay, so let's work with it, not wish it away. Sure, it's not all easy. Rules need to keep up and people need to follow them. But by making crypto laws clearer and watching the market, Brazil could become a big deal in Latin America's crypto world. It's lively and fast like their carnival. Just with more techie crypto stuff and maybe fewer feathers. Probably. Assalamu alaikum. Our next stop is Pakistan, a country where the official stance on cryptocurrency has for some time been about as clear as mud after a monsoon. However, things are evolving with the establishment of the Pakistan Crypto Council. This body aims not just to regulate but also to the cryptocurrency market. This is a significant shift, suggesting a move from uncertainty and at times outright skepticism towards a more structured and potentially welcoming approach. The council has some ambitious goals to enhance remittance flows, which are a vital part of Pakistan's economy, and to foster broader blockchain innovation within the country. The focus on remittances is particularly noteworthy. Millions of Pakistanis work abroad and send money home. If cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology can make these transfers faster, cheaper, and more transparent, it could have a profoundly positive impact on countless families and the national economy. It's about leveraging new technology to solve old problems. Similarly, fostering blockchain innovation could unlock new avenues for economic growth. From supply chain management to digital identity, it's like Pakistan has been cautiously watching the crypto party from the sidelines and has finally decided to see if there's a way to join in responsibly. Of course, forming a council is just the first step on a long journey. The real work lies in developing and implementing effective regulations that strike the right balance. They'll need to encourage legitimate businesses while protecting consumers from scams, ensure financial stability, and comply with international standards on things like anti-money laundering. It's a complex tightrope walk, especially for a developing economy, but the intent seems to be there, to move from a regulatory gray area towards a framework that could allow Pakistan to benefit from the digital asset revolution. The world will be watching to see how the Pakistan Crypto Council navigates these challenging but potentially rewarding waters. It's a story of cautious optimism and a nation trying to find its footing in a rapidly changing financial landscape. Marhaba. Our final destination on this regulatory world tour is the United Arab Emirates, with a particular focus on Dubai, the glittering emirate that seems to be in a perpetual race to build the future today. And when it comes to cryptocurrency, Dubai is not just dipping its toes, it's doing a full-blown swan dive into the deep end. The Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, or VARA, has been established with a clear mandate to make Dubai a leading global hub for virtual assets. VARA has been busy rolling out a comprehensive regulatory framework, covering everything from licensing for exchanges and brokers to rules on marketing, issuance of new tokens, and custody operations. They are, in essence, trying to create a one-stop shop for legitimate crypto businesses, offering regulatory clarity and a supportive ecosystem. It's an incredibly ambitious play, aiming to attract talent, capital, and innovation from around the world. Think of it as building a special economic zone but for crypto. The UAE and Dubai in particular sees digital assets and blockchain technology as key pillars of its future economic diversification strategy, moving beyond its traditional reliance on oil and real estate. They're not just tolerating crypto, they're actively wooing it with bespoke regulations and a business-friendly environment. This proactive and comprehensive approach has certainly turned heads. Many crypto companies, feeling uncertain or unwelcome elsewhere, have been exploring or even establishing a presence in Dubai. However, this rapid development also comes with challenges. VARA needs to ensure its robust framework is effectively enforced to prevent the UAE from becoming a haven for illicit activities, a concern often voiced about jurisdictions that move quickly to embrace emerging financial technologies. It's a high-stakes endeavor to become a respected, well-regulated crypto oasis that fosters genuine innovation, rather than a mirage that disappears when the scrutiny gets too intense. If they succeed, Dubai could indeed become a blueprint for how to integrate virtual assets into a modern economy. Well, there you have it. As we can see, the global approach to cryptocurrency regulation is diverse and evolving. It's less a harmonized global symphony, and more like a worldwide battle of the bands where everyone's playing a different song in a different key, and some are still tuning their instruments. From outright bans in China, to the cautious embrace in places like Singapore and Dubai, the cautious and complicated dance in the US and UK, and the tax-heavy trepidation in India, it's clear that there's no single playbook. Each nation is trying to figure out how to deal with this disruptive technology, balancing innovation with consumer protection, financial stability, and often, a healthy dose of national interest. What this means for the future of digital assets is that it's going to remain a bit of a bumpy ride. The regulatory landscape is a patchwork quilt, and that quilt is still being stitched, with new patches being added and old ones being ripped out all the time. For businesses, investors, and even casual users, this means staying informed is not just advisable, it's absolutely crucial. The rules of the game are constantly changing, and what's permissible in one jurisdiction might land you in hot water in another. It's a dynamic, sometimes frustrating, but undeniably fascinating space to watch. The one certainty is that regulation will continue to shape the crypto world, hopefully guiding it towards greater maturity and legitimacy, or at least preventing it from spontaneously combusting in a blaze of unregulated chaos. Stay tuned for more updates on how these regulations will shape the future of digital assets. Thanks for watching. And remember, if someone offers you guaranteed crypto returns that sound too good to be true, they almost certainly are. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go lie down in a dark room and think about something simple like quantum entanglement.